Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Jessica and today I'm going to show you how I turned this Ikea Sniglar changing table into something very closely resembling the Ikea Flisat table for sensory play for my daughter. This whole project cost me just $15. That's compared to the $50 that the Flisat table is currently going for in stores, and that's if you can find one. These tables are so popular that they are basically sold out nationwide. So for $15, I made this table myself. I spent $10 buying the Sniglar changing table secondhand on Facebook Marketplace, though you can also buy them in store new for $35, and then I spent $5 buying an Ikea spice shelf that I needed as part of the project, and I'll show you what I do with that. But everything else I basically had in my house or borrowed from friends, and spent about a weekend and made this table, which I'm really proud of the results and I hope you'll like. So if you do like this video, I hope you'll give it a like. I hope you'll hit the subscribe button down below if you'd like to see more Frugal Mama hacks and more Frugal Mama videos. And comment down below if you're having a hard time finding the Flisat table yourself, or if you try my hack, I hope you'll comment down below and let me know how it went. Everything that I've used in the video is linked down below in the information section of this video. So if you're looking for something, you can find it all down there. Thanks so much for watching, and now to the video. Step one is disassembling this table. And I've got just Tupperware to keep all of the hardware and a trusty Allen wrench.
So the sides of the table are held together with these screws that untwist with the Allen wrench, and they have another metal piece that the screw goes into that you'll want to hold your hand underneath so that when it falls out you can catch that as well. The table is also held together with a series of wood pegs, so even once you unscrew all of the screws, the table is still going to hold together with all of those wood pegs. And then you're going to have to give each of the sides of the table a twist like this in order to get those four legs off. The next thing you're going to want to do is take out all of the little wood pegs with some pliers. You'll have two boxes and then four legs of the table. You're going to have to undo each of those two boxes. One of the boxes will become the face of the table, and the other you're going to put back together and it will hold the legs. You just want to slip out these two white pieces of the table. You'll see that I have wood pegs in to get them to go together, and that I've flipped just one, this top piece, so that you can see that long line indent, and that's just to get it to the right size. So it's not going to be perfectly square, but it's going to be close. So now I'm ready to start gluing. And my friend who let me borrow the wood glue said, don't be shy about using a lot of glue. So that's what I'm going to do. The baby wipes are to catch the drips. That was another recommendation from my friend. So we'll see how it works. One thing you want to make sure of is that the top and bottom of your table face are the right distance apart to hold the bins that you are ultimately going to put on top. I used Ikea's trofast bins, and these are plastic bins that are $3 each at Ikea. They do come in a few sizes. I use the ones that fit the Flisat table as well. So I have my pieces of wood set 15.5 inches apart, so you can actually go to about 15.75 inches apart. If you buy the bins ahead of time, you can always double check your opening with the bins themselves. You don't want to get this wrong, because if you glue it, there's sort of no going back. make sure everything dried nice and flat, I put 2 heavy clamps on mine, but you could also use heavy books. Now you're ready to glue the top or the face of the table to the bottom part of the table, which is going to hold the legs. So the face of the table to the bottom of the table, you just need to use some glue. I also decided that I would clamp mine after it was glued, but again, you don't have to do that. You could just use some heavy books. The idea is to make sure that there's no gap between the top of the table and the bottom of the table. You do also want to make sure that your bottom box is facing in the correct direction, because otherwise your table legs won't go back onto the box. So the correct direction is with the line that used to hold the insert into the box at the bottom. And you'll see that when I turn this over. But just double check that you've got the legs that are going to be facing the correct direction. The worst thing would be to get it all glued and realize that you've got the holes facing the wrong direction.
So next step, I've got on my safety goggles and I'm going to cut through this middle part of the wood. And again, I'm cutting the top right here, right along this line.
Have a friend or a neighbor who has a professional saw and wants to make fork cuts for you, that would certainly be a little bit easier, but you can do it with a handsaw like I'm using. One of the great things about using this table is that you'll wind up with 2 sets of legs, a shorter set and a taller set, and you can use those to grow with your child. So when they're younger, you can put on the shorter set, and when they grow a little bit older and a little bit taller, you can put on the taller set.
That's it, guys. 2 pieces. 1 leg down.
To attach the legs to the base of the table, you're going to want to insert the small dowels, line those up with the bottom of the table and press, and then insert the screw and tighten with your Allen wrench. You don't need any wood glue here, especially because then it wouldn't let you interchange the legs from the small to the tall.
So what do you do about the space in between the 2 bins? You can leave it. You can get a special piece of wood cut at a hardware store to fit. The other option for you comes from Ikea, and that's these $5 Beckham spice shelves. You may be familiar with these because a lot of people use them not just for spices, but for little wood bookshelves for kids. And they actually fit quite nicely in the space in between. It's slightly smaller width-wise, but it'll give you the look of the actual table. The wood's obviously a slightly different color, but that's what I'm going to do with mine.
If you unwrap your shelf, you'll find that 1 long board that's going to go across the center of the table, as well as these 2 smaller boards, which you can wood glue to the side and bottom of the table so that you get a little bit more strength. Where you need to cut is basically at the bottom of the holes towards the center of the table. You can obviously just measure, but basically you're going to find yourself cutting along the bottom of those hole lines.
So now my last step, if you want, is adding the board to the center of the table, which will make it just that little bit more like the actual table. And again, from the spice rack, I still have these two little extra pieces which I'm going to use underneath to secure it to the table.
Here I'm just double checking with a measuring tape that I've got the centerpiece equidistant from each of the sides so that the bins sit nicely in the table and I've got an even and centered piece at the end. So that's it, guys. I hope you liked this. I hope you were able to follow along. We built our Flisat table.
Okay guys, so behind me you'll see the table I just finished building and the actual Flisat table, and let me explain. What happened was, as I was building this table, I got a notification on my phone saying that the actual Flisat table had just come into stock near me. So I jumped in my car and I drove like a madwoman to Ikea, and I was able to pick one up. What it lets me do now though is show you the two tables together, and now I just have two tables. So they are actually pretty similar, and let me show you some footage of both of them together.
As you can see, the table I just put together is ever so slightly taller than the actual Flisat table. You'll also notice that the corners and legs of the Flisat table are rounded, while the one I put together are square. If that bothers you and you're concerned about sharp corners, you can use some baby-proofing tape on the sides, and I have a link to that down below. You'll also notice that the table I put together, the space between the two bins is slightly larger than the actual Flisat table, and that is actually kind of nice because you can put different tools and things for your child there and actually use that space a little bit better. Dimension-wise though, the tables are very comparable, and so the length, the width is very, very similar.
What I can also now show you is a comparison of the Flisat stool and the shorter legs from the table that I built. So some people use these shorter legs and just interchange them for the Flisat table when their kids are really small. And then, like I said, I have the shorter legs for the table that I built as well. So it is a little bit taller than the Flisat's shorter legs, but both give you sort of an option for a shorter table. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more Frugal Mama hacks, subscribe to my channel down below. If you do try building your own table, I'd love to hear from you. Send me a comment down below, or if you think there are other ways I could have done this more simply or better, I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy building.